So we're talking today about reflexivity and reflexive thinking. And this is the second principle and very core. Systems thinking really needs us and requires us to have an understanding of our mental models and our world view. It's kind of a level 2 thinking, which requires that we don't just use a particular paradigm, a particular worldview. We actually come to understand that worldview. We come to understand different worldviews and different paradigms. And that is only done through reflexive thinking, being reflexive about our thinking and exploring that. And as it says here, system thinking requires us to surface our paradigms and mental models so as to be aware of how they work, what they will enable us to see, and how they will inhibit us in seeing other things. Being reflexive means examining and being aware of the assumptions that we bring. So a paradigm is a fundamental worldview, is a set of assumptions, and until we explore those assumptions that underlie a particular paradigm, we won't become aware of it, and we'll stay creating the same problems, the same challenges, the same limitations, as long as we adopt that same paradigm. So systems thinking is asking that we become aware of a reductionist paradigm and a holistic paradigm. We start exploring the assumptions and why they work, what works best, where, when, so on and so forth. So calling oneself a systems thinker is a commitment to an ongoing learning process of examining and trying to improve our mental models and thinking to become better at systems thinking. And this really starts with asking, how do we see the world? How do I see the world? And being reflexive about that, and recognizing, have this real recognition that actually our mental models, our assumptions, our paradigms, they frame what we see, what we don't see, and then of course how we go about acting in the world, and of course the world we create out there. So if there are big challenges, issues out there, there probably can be traced back to our paradigm, and the limitations of that, and becoming aware of it can really help us change the paradigm, adopt new perspectives, and then that can actually lead to transformative change in terms of new ways of doing things and new outcomes in the world. So it's this cyclical process. Recognizing reflexive thinking is about recognizing our mental models as shaping our worldview, as shaping the world we create, and so forth. And that systems change, and this relationship between kind of the external world and ourselves, and development and the development of the systems we're working with is an initiative one. It's a reflexive one in terms of changing mental models. It helps us see the world differently. It helps us go and work with it and organize things differently and manage things and design them. And that's an ongoing iterative process. Because that, of course, feeds back the world we live in, then actually influences how we conceive of it and what we conceive as possible, and so forth. So that's reflexive thinking. It's being reflexive about our mental models, about our paradigm, being aware of our paradigm and our worldview, and how that enables us and constrains us, the limitations of models, what can be done, what can't be done, and using that effectively, the right model in the right place, the right paradigm for the right thing, and recognizing that that will be consequences for how we think that shapes what we see and what we do and the world that we create.